Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. So this is a 12 by 12 scrapbooking layout, tiny bit of mixed media, not too much, and I'm using one of the Flutterby collections, which is her new collection, We Are Family. So it came out end of last year and I got it straight away, but unfortunately was swamped with Christmas projects and ideas and work that I just left it in a pizza box under my desk and found it, thankfully, when I cleaned my room. So I got stuck into it straight away and decided I'd start with this paper and I would put a little bit of mixed media on there, and in fact I use a Flutterby stencil, which is this heart one. So just adding some modelling paste in a little bit of random spots. I'm thinking that the photo is going to go in the middle of that, and then that's all I've got planned for this. I just want to go with the flow and see what happens. Oh, sorry, the camera does shake a little, especially when I'm doing things like this with the modelling base. I did have it set on my pegboard when I changed my my craft room around. I attached my tripod kind of thing to the pegboard that's attached to my desk, and unfortunately it shook too much. But of course I didn't realise until after this video and the other Flutterby video that I recorded on the same day. I have since changed it, and I have cut out when it's like extremely bad, except for obviously when I was doing that modelling paste. But I do apologise. I'm sorry. I fixed it now. But I didn't want to miss out on sharing this process video. I liked the end result and I love the products. So just showing you the project life cards. There's filler cards and then just plain ones with the patterns on it. And I just pulled out a few that I wanted to see how I wanted to layer behind the photo. I just wanted to have some mixed media behind it. I was contemplating a bit of colour, mist colour added to it, but I decided not to. I did outline, matte that with the white paper, then decided against it. Start with the pink, just like the background, and then I'm going to add some more colours to it. So going to go with this bluey, turquoisey kind of colour, aqua colour. I think that I really need to just find out what those colours are, because I love them all, but I get them all mixed up. So just using my paper edge tool, distress tool, to distress the edges. And the more you go over one section, the more distressed it looks and more ripped, and the more it takes off it. So it's really fun to do that in more parts than the other parts. Just gutting that out so that I can save it, because I do, like I said, like that colour. And all these little patterns and whatnot in this collection are just so nice. So this is the family collection, and this is a photo all by myself. But that's okay, because the title and the embellishments work together well to tell a story in this kind of documented moment. So adding some purple now. It's just a matter of having to play with my layering. I'm not doing anything too fancy, not overwhelming the picture though, is what I aim to do. And I also don't want to do 20 million different colours. That was not straight, so pulled that off. I'm just going to play around with these for a bit until I get the layering the way I want it. And I did keep this in, even though it can be a little bit tedious. But because I find that people are often asking about how to layer, or are very interested to find out how and why people do their layering the way they do it. And this was obviously one of those moments where I layered heavily behind a photo. So I wanted to show you my rhyme and reason as I was going through. So cutting out one of these tabs, it's so fun to get a whole sheet of tabs that relate and match with the collection. So that's always fun to have in when we get these collections from Flutterbys. And I'm just still, like I said, there's so many filler cards that you get in there. You could do it with the pattern paper as well, but I just thought I'd keep the pattern paper and for now and have a play with these journaling cards and filler cards and whatever you would like to call it. I think they're called everyday cards actually. Or was that just one collection? Not too up on the lingo apparently. So let's add in some more here. I do finish up in a moment. It's not much more to it, but I do want to make it appealing to my eye when I look at the layers. Sometimes just one layer behind a photo is enough, and sometimes 2 or 3, and other times I need, 6 and more. So, but it's not a case of, I'm counting as I'm going. It's just a matter of looking at it. That's why I keep holding it up. That's why I'm holding it in my hands, to make sure it's what I want and where I want it. And then like that, you can put it on top of your paper. Obviously not right down if you've got wet media on it, but put it next to it so that you can get an idea of the spacing. I don't want to cover up too much of that mixed media, but I do want to make it sit nicely onto that background. So you can see I'm coming to an end now. There's not much more that I can really add on to it without it being horrendously huge. I don't want to end up taking a 4x4 photo to an 8.5 kind of a size, that's for sure. So just putting away, and then as I was putting away, there was these 3 little offcuts, and they go so well together. The colours are the right, because obviously they are the offcuts that I've just cut off paper that I used, but they are going to go down the bottom here and work with it all and just finish off those layers. So you can see now that I've put it all together. I've added one of those flare buttons, and I'm just going to layer it with some tissue paper. Now I do cut the tissue paper 2 different, what do you call them? I just cut them, I guess. Cut them so that they stand out on top of each other. So I glue one to the background here, and then I cut that so that it edges just a full mat around the whole photo. And then I add the next layer of tissue paper and add a little bit extra all the way around in the width to make it stand out so that you can see the 2 layers. Sometimes it's nice to do that. Other times it's nice to just have the tissue paper exactly the same. Not a problem. So on goes that second layer, and I'm just going to cut it down. And then we're going to move on to embellishing and adding the finishing touches and the title, because that's how I like to scrapbook. Not everyone likes to have a title, but I think maybe 2 or 3 I might have made without any title, and they looked like they didn't need a title in terms of design. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's screaming for something, and other times it's not. So skipping ahead a little, I haven't added, but I've got sitting there laying there those hearts and the little camera sticker. And then I've got that "if you met my family, you would understand" die cut piece. I'm just going to cut this heart down, and that's just off a filler page, a filler card. So it's good to mix it up and use some of the filler cards as icons cut out. Other times it's nice to use them just straight as they're intended to be made, to be used in the full, rectangular shape. So I decide that heart's going to go down the bottom there, and I glue it down with the title that "if you met my family, you would understand" die cut, and then I commit to that camera and those hearts and a bit of journaling with some enamel dots. So there's not much to this layout. You can see it comes together quite easily. I do have that heart overhanging the edge just because it's nice. It ties it in rather than having the full, it would just sit it would look like it was floating if I just had that full heart sitting just near the edge. But having it cut off the edge there, and sorry, the whole thing is cut off the video screen edge, means that it ties it in and makes your eye draw to it and look appealing rather than it looking like it's just something randomly plonked down by itself without any relation to the page. So adding some of these little tiny words. I did have to cut it a little bit. They are stickers. All the rest of them came off really nicely, but that one I needed to use my scissors, which is not a problem. That's why we keep scissors on our desk. We're scrapbookers. So just adding that there, apparently not very straight. Isn't it funny that from the angle I was sitting and the angle we sit at the desk, it looks straight, or it looks pretty straight, unless you're pedantic and or are one of those people that have to have everything straight and then use a ruler. And then obviously it just looks like it, so you go with it. And then if you do process videos, you look back and go, that was not straight at all. But that's okay, because I like it, it works. And here's the finished page. So hopefully you've enjoyed the process video. Let us know down below, leave me a comment, and I hope you come back and watch the next video. So bye.